Have you ever heard a whisper on the wind, a voice so faint you thought you imagined it? What if that whisper knew your name? Tonight, we journey to a place shrouded in mist and legend, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. This is the story of Blackwood Bridge, better known to locals as the Whispering Bridge. Tucked away in the rolling hills of rural Pennsylvania, Blackwood Bridge is a relic of a bygone era. Built in the late 1800s, this old iron truss bridge spans a deep, rocky gorge carved by the fast-flowing Cinder Creek. By day, it's a picturesque, albeit slightly rusted, piece of history. But when the sun dips below the horizon and the fog rolls in from the creek, the bridge takes on a completely different character. It becomes a place of eerie silence, broken only by the creak of old metal and ... the whispers. Locals have told stories for generations. They say if you stand in the middle of the bridge at midnight, completely alone, and listen closely, you'll hear it. A soft, ethereal whisper, carried on the breeze, that speaks a single word: your name. But where did this legend come from? To understand the haunting, we have to travel back to the early 1920s. The story revolves around a young woman named Ilara. She was known throughout the nearby village for her kindness and her beautiful singing voice. She was deeply in love with a young man named Thomas, a worker who helped maintain the very bridge that would seal their fate. Their love was the stuff of local admiration, a pure and simple romance. They planned to marry in the spring. Thomas often worked late on the bridge, and Ilara would walk out to meet him, her lantern a tiny beacon of light in the growing darkness. She would call his name, and he would call hers back, their voices echoing in the gorge. It was their special ritual. One fateful autumn evening, a terrible storm swept through the valley. The wind howled and the rain fell in blinding sheets. Thomas was on the bridge, securing loose bolts against the storm's fury. Ilara, worried sick, grabbed her lantern and headed out to find him, just as she always did. She stood at the edge of the bridge, the wind tearing at her clothes, and she called his name. But this Chimi, there was no answer. The storm had weakened a section of the bridge's walkway. As Thomas made his way across, the structure gave way beneath him, and he was tragically lost to the raging waters of Cinder Creek below. Ilara saw it happen. Her scream was lost in the roar of the storm. Heartbroken and inconsolable, she returned to that bridge every single night for a year, calling his name, hoping for an answer that would never come. The legend says that on the anniversary of his death, consumed by her grief, Ilara threw her lantern into the gorge and followed it into the darkness, forever joining her love in the cold embrace of the creek. Ever since, her spirit is said to be bound to the bridge, forever searching, forever calling out for her lost love. And in her sorrow, she sometimes mistakes the living for her Thomas, whispering their names in a desperate, hopeful plea. Now, a legend is one thing, but first-hand accounts are another. Over the years, countless people have claimed to experience the whispers. We found one particularly compelling story from a man named Mark, who visited the bridge as a skeptical teenager in the 1990s. "My friends and I dared each other to go," he told us. "We thought it was just a silly ghost story. We got there around midnight. It was dead quiet, super creepy. We all stood there, trying to act brave. After about 10 minutes, we were ready to leave, calling it a bust. But just as I turned to go, I heard it, clear as day, right by my ear. Mark, it wasn't one of my friends." Their mouths were closed, and they were a few feet away. The voice was soft, sad. It felt ancient. I've never been so scared in my life. We ran back to the car and never looked back. Mark's story isn't unique. Paranormal investigators have flocked to Blackwood Bridge armed with EVP recorders, thermal cameras, and EMF meters. Many have captured electronic voice phenomena, disembodied voices, recorded on audio devices. Often, these EVPs are faint and difficult to decipher, but some are chillingly clear. One team reportedly captured a female voice sighing, followed by a faint whisper that, when amplified, sounded like the name David, who was one of the investigators present. They also report drastic temperature drops in the center of the bridge, even on warm nights, and EMF meters that spike erratically without any logical source of electromagnetic interference. Some have even claimed to see a flickering light, like that of an old lantern, hovering over the water below before vanishing. So, is it truly the ghost of Elara, forever trapped in a loop of love and loss? Or is there a scientific explanation? Skeptics propose theories like audial pareidolia, where the brain interprets random sounds like the wind whistling through the iron trusses or the gurgling of the crickets, familiar patterns like a voice speaking a name. The power of suggestion is also incredibly strong. When you go to a place expecting to hear your name, your mind is primed to interpret any faint sound in that way. This phenomenon is known as the wind chime effect. The unique acoustics of the gorge could also play a part, carrying and distorting sounds in unpredictable ways. But these logical explanations don't fully account for the consistency of the experiences. Why do so many different people, at different times, report the same specific phenomenon? Why a whisper, and why a name? The science doesn't quite capture the profound sense of sadness that visitors report feeling on the bridge, a lingering sorrow that seems to hang in the air. Whether you believe in the paranormal or seek a rational explanation, the story of the Whispering Bridge of Blackwood is a powerful reminder of how stories shape a place. It's a tale of enduring love, heartbreaking loss, and a legend that has woven itself into the very iron and stone of the bridge itself. It has transformed a simple structure into a landmark of mystery, drawing in the curious and the brave. What do you think? Is it the wind playing tricks on the mind? Or is it the lonely spirit of Elara still calling out in the dark, hoping for an answer? Perhaps some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, but simply experienced. The next time you're on a quiet, lonely road and you hear a whisper on the wind, listen closely. It might just be for you. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey to the Whispering Bridge. If you enjoyed this exploration into the unknown, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the world's most mysterious places. Let us know in the comments if you've ever had a similar experience, or if there's a haunted place you'd like us to investigate next. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.